Hi, welcome back to Psychic Grandma's channel. Good to be here with all of you. Oh, sorry, I'm a little out of breath. Been very busy today. In this video, which I would like to talk about is, sometimes it's not easy being a psychic medium. So if there's anybody out there wondering if they're a psychic medium, or they're really trying to become better at their abilities, working on it and everything, make sure that's what you really want. I mean, I wouldn't change my life for nothing. I feel so blessed that I'm a psychic medium because I feel like it can really help a lot of people, even if I didn't do it to help my clients, just to help myself or help my family members and friends. Actually, some mediums or psychics, they don't like to do readings for like friends and family, and I totally get it. Because talking about like being a psychic and a medium, I'm just going to complain a little bit. Okay. Just like if you're a doctor, how demanding it is to be a doctor or a nurse or something like that. You know what I mean? It's always the good with the bad, no matter what you do. Okay. So if you're gifted as a medium, there's struggles with that too. Okay. I always say that it's a blessing but a curse at the same time, because one, not all people, not all clients, okay, it's like this, but there is some that think that you're coming to you as a medium, that you're going to make miracles. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to solve a lot of their problems. They're almost expecting too much out of a medium, and trust me, mediums can feel that pressure, sometimes from the people or from themselves. I know myself, I put a lot of pressure on myself, in the sense of I try so hard to give a client the best reading possible. And sometimes, we're people too. We could be off. Maybe we're having some kind of personal issue that's going on in our lives that nobody else knows about, or even a health issue. Because we are people too. And I don't know if sometimes people forget about that. We're only human, and we can make mistakes. We're not perfect. I always tell my clients, I'm not perfect. I can make a mistake. I'm human, but I try to do the best that I can do. And most people do understand that, and they accept that, which is beautiful. I love it when people understand and have an open mind. But there is, a lot of pressure and responsibility that comes to doing mediumship. Besides the stress that you put on yourself, or say if you just didn't feel like you did as well as you could have, you might be really hard on yourself. And then plus you always in your head have to have faith on whatever you're receiving. It's not your imagination, it's not your own thoughts, and it's almost like war in your head. You know what I mean? Like, you have to make sure you don't go into that space, because you have to have faith in when you receive these messages. You have to have faith. It's from the loved ones. It's not you. It's not your thoughts. And that makes, a really good medium, and the outcome of the session to be a lot better. But like I said, we're human too, and sometimes we do doubt ourselves. Just like probably a doctor when he goes into surgery, which you don't want that doctor operating on you at that time. But they're human too. So that, and then the anxiety of growing up being like a psychic or a medium, especially when you don't understand what's going on. A lot of gifted people have anxiety, sometimes even panic attacks. And then let's see what else. Oh, And you know the hardest thing I find, anyways, I can't speak for other psychics or mediums. I'm just, you know, ex- explaining how it is for me. Okay, you know, maybe other psychics or mediums don't have anxiety. I don't know, but I know I do. I had a, you know, all my life since I was a kid, because a lot of things I just didn't understand what was happening to me, and I was scared because I didn't understand. You know, when you see spirits or you hear voices, you know, and you're scared to tell people, you know, like your main people in your family, because you'll think they think you're nuts. Or at first, actually, when this happens at a very young age, you think it's normal. You think everybody's going through this, you know, so you don't think anything's weird about it. But then when you get older and you realize, oh, everybody's not feeling this or seeing this or whatever, then you go through, it's bad enough to be like a teenager and you're doubting yourself and you're insecure and you want to be popular with your friends if you're that type of person. You know what I mean? Or you're not pretty enough or smart enough. You know, you're really hard on yourself as a teenager, you know, going through that process. But when you're a psychic or a medium on top of it, then and you realize you're seeing things and you're hearing things and you're feeling things, or you know things before it happens, then that even makes you feel more of an outsider. And you feel really weird, like you're weird, you know, that's how you feel, you know, as a teenager. So that's a really hard process to go through. Like I said, even more so if you don't understand what's going on. And then even if you do understand, you still feel like an outsider because you don't have that in common with maybe your best friend. And you can't share that part of you with your best friend because they just wouldn't understand. Or they'll laugh at you and tell other people, you know, if they're not, you know, understanding, if they're, you know, or some kids might think it's cool and want to hear all about it and experience some of the things that you could show them what could happen. You know, but yeah, it's just really, really tough. So that's where all the anxiety come from being a kid, you know, seeing things, judging yourself, how you feel and everything like that. It's very hard to fit in with other people. Even now, it's like, let's say if I went on a dating service, you know, some kind of dating website, you know, and I want to meet somebody. There's times where, you know, they'll say, you know, so what do you do? You know, you meet them in person, everything's going good. And then, you know, they say, oh, so what do you do for a living? And then you say, you know, oh, I'm a psychic medium. Bye. Nice knowing you. You know what I mean? So it's still even hard to fit in sometimes. Unless somebody has a very open mind, they're very spiritual, and they're into that. Then they think it's fascinating, and that's beautiful because then you get something in common. You know what I mean? You could talk about it. But can you imagine being married to somebody that is so against it, or just don't understand it, or too afraid of it, whatever their reason is, and you can't share that part of you with that person? It's very, very difficult. It can be very lonely. Let's see. Because that's such a big part of you if you're psychic or medium. It's such a big part of you. It's who you are. And if you can't share that with loved ones here in the physical world, it makes it really, really hard. And then the other thing that's really, really hard is, I found this really hard. You know, probably around in my 20s, it started really bothering me a lot. Is sometimes we don't get all the details on stuff. We'll get like a piece of it or half of it, which is so, you know, it gets on your nerves, you know. It's like, let's say, okay, this is a good example. One time I had a dream and I saw this plane crash. I saw everything happen, you know, how it moved, where it crashed, it went under a bridge, went into water, all this stuff, right? And I even saw the people come, you know, certain people came out of the plane and all this stuff, and it was winter, blah, 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 right? Everything, right down to the detail. But you know what? I didn't know I didn't see, like, was it American Airlines, United Airlines, you know what I mean? I didn't know the number of the plane. So you can't call up, like, say, the airport or whatever and say, oh, I think this plane is going to crash, because you don't have enough detail. You know what I mean? So it's like out of your control. But yet it shows, I guess, the vision of like having a dream or a vision that you see before it happens. It just validates that you're a psychic or a medium. You know what I mean? But you can't really do anything about major incidents like that. And that's really frustrating for a psychic or a medium. That's part of it. And then the other part is when you do know something that's going to happen, especially, say, to a family member or a friend, or even it's rare. And I don't know why. I don't understand everything either. I'm learning every day. Or about yourself, and you know what's going to happen. That sucks. Sometimes you get too much information in that sense, you know what I mean? Now, when I first started doing readings, actually before I started doing readings, and I would just walk by people and I would pick up something and I feel like, you know, their loved one was there and they were putting so much pressure on me to talk to this stranger, and I didn't have the confidence at that time. You really have to have a lot of confidence. Because you don't want to be laughed at, you don't want to be, you know, made of a joke out of, you know, somebody make a joke out of you, and you're terrified of being wrong because you don't have the confidence, you know what I mean? But you have that pressure of the soul and all that, and it was like 24/7. It's like I couldn't go anywhere, you know, and I was getting all this stuff. So because I didn't learn at that point, I didn't learn how to shut it off, you know, and it's very unhealthy to be on all the time. You know, sometimes I'll have a client that did a reading and then I don't hear from them for a couple months. And then they text me and they say, you know, Megan, I'll just use this for example. Megan, did you, I don't know if it works like this, but did you get any information on my husband since the last time we talked? Could you let me know if he comes to you and he wants something from me or whatever, you know? And I try to explain it don't work that way because I learned to shut it off, because you would go crazy. You know, it's bad enough to be in the world. Picture yourself in a mall and it's crowded at Christmas time, okay? Picture it like that. Can you imagine having your day, every day like that, with like voices and actions, you know, of people, seeing people and hearing their voices talking, and you know, it kind of, it's like that, you know what I mean? It's like, ooh, you know, a little bit too much. And then you have that pull too, like to go over there, like you got to do it, you know, and that can be irritating. On the side of the medium, feeling that pressure. It's like pressure you're feeling. Let's see. So you know, I told the client, you know, like, no, it don't work that way, because, and I know they don't understand. And so, you know, I don't blame them or anything, and I don't blame them for trying to get more information from their loved ones. They miss them, you know, and they want to connect. But a medium has to cut it off, okay? Can't let it flow. You know, like right now, I'm not in contact with them. You know, I'm trying to block it off, because the other thing that's really hard for a medium is, say you have a client in front of you, right? And so you're starting to do the reading, and you're talking with them, you're trying to explain how it's going to be and all that, so they know what to expect. But meanwhile, I'm being pulled because I already did my prayers and meditation. And a lot of times when I can't speak for other psychics and mediums if they say prayers or meditate or whatever, but this is my routine, what I believe to do, what works for me. But, you know, so when I'm in my meditation, sometimes they start coming through then. So I already know some stuff before my client even gets here. And then when I get up from my meditation and I kind of like, you know, go brush my hair or whatever and, you know, get ready, you know, light my candles, whatever I do, then I'm blocked off. I try to be blocked off. But the minute I sit down, I start talking, they know, the loved ones know that I'm about to start, right? So I kind of like warm up why I'm trying to make my client feel comfortable. I'll start talking to them a little bit. And then I start explaining certain things, what's going to happen, so they know, like I said, then they know what to expect. So then, but then I get pulled and I start getting stuff before I'm even done talking to them. And that's so hard. I can't even tell you. I can't even put it in words how hard it is, because it feels like I'm split and I'm in this physical world, but yet I'm feeling the energy and I feel like my soul's there too. You know what I mean? Because I could feel their souls. We're like, because we're all one. So when you cross over like that, go over the veil, right? I'm like half over there and half here. It's almost like look at it like this, kind of, I guess. I never was in a coma that I know of, but say you're in a coma, you're still here, you're alive, but your soul is probably half over there. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's hard too, and people don't really get that either. Sometimes it's so hard that I have to apologize to my client because I'm trying to finish my thoughts, what I'm saying, but then I'm starting to hear things like they get ahead of me. Sometimes they're so excited, they start downloading information in me too fast. So anyways, these are some of the struggles that a psychic medium goes through, and there's more, but my time is running out. I don't want it to be too long. I have trouble uploading for some reason if it's around 20 minutes. So I try to keep it under 20 minutes lately. So anyways, so yeah, so them are some of the things that a medium or a psychic really struggles with, they really do, they really, really do want the best reading for their clients. So if they are like that, it's like, it puts a lot of pressure on you, but it's okay, and like when I say it's a blessing and then it's a curse, well, it's like in the early days when you don't understand what's going on, and this is the curse side of it, you don't understand what's going on, you're seeing spirits, you're hearing spirits, you feel like an outsider, you can't connect with your friends because you're different, or before you learn how to shut it down, and you're out in the public and you're picking up all these spirits around people and everything like that. That's like, like a curse. I have all that under control now. This has been almost 20 years ago, but it's very hard to start out, and when you realize you start having some kind of gift. So just be ready for that roller coaster. That's all I'm saying. But you know what? It really, really pays off, because I feel so blessed, and I'm so glad that I can help so many people after having a session with my clients, and I could see where, a big load is off their shoulders, or they just feel more happier because they know their loved ones are better, in a better place, and they're still around them, or their personal lives, looks brighter maybe, so all different reasons, but it really touches my heart that I helped so many people in the past, and I hope I have many more years to help even more people. It was worth the challenges that I had to go through, or even the challenges I still have to go through. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. So if you are a psychic or a medium, just be, if you're on the beginning of it, be prepared for all that. But please believe me, it's worth it. Okay. God bless you all, and please pass that white light forward, and I'll talk to you real soon in the next video. God bless. Bye-bye.